Governor Das, you've been Economic Affairs Secretary, you've been Revenue Secretary, now you're on the hot seat in the Reserve Bank of India. Which job do you enjoy more? Why? What's the difference between being a Babu working with the Finance Ministry and being Governor of the Reserve Bank of India?
You see, this term Babu is a term which I think the media has invented, and I don't know what it means, whether it is good or bad, but that is how, my tribe till I superannuated from the service we were described. Now, both jobs are equally important, equally challenging, but the major difference that I see is that in government, you are part of a system. So anything good or bad, it falls on somebody else. It doesn't fall on you. In the Reserve Bank, whatever good or bad, your face appears on the television screen of India Today TV. So therefore, the level, on a more serious note, I think the quantum of accountability in individual terms, the quantum of personal accountability the accountability of the individual is far higher in the Reserve Bank. That's number one. I mean, as the Governor Reserve Bank. The second thing is, government decides policies which do take a time to play out. You announce a policy, it's not as if in the next 5 minutes or next 1 hour things are going to happen. I mean, every policy has to be implemented. It does take a few days or few weeks to unfold. In the Reserve Bank, you take a decision or you say something, immediately the markets react. So therefore, here, the responsibility is far higher in that sense, because there is a whole lot of market waiting outside, which immediately reacts to what the governor or what our deputy governors and other senior officials, the state outside. So broadly, I think I see these as the major difference and the major challenges.
When you took over as the Reserve Bank Governor, there was a lot of commentary about how a history honors graduate and postgraduate from St. Stephen's was being given a job which in the past, most recently, had been held by PhDs in economics from some of the world's fanciest, stoniest Ivy League universities. Does the lack of academic qualification, you've done a financial program from IIM Bangalore, but the lack of academic qualification in economics, is that something that weighs you down, bothers you, all this criticism?
I think I have replied to this question earlier. The chief of US Fed has a political science background. The head of the incoming chief of the IMF, Christine Lagarde, the incoming chief of the European Central Bank and the former president of the IMF, she has a legal background. She was basically a politician and she was a lawyer. The chief of Bank of Japan has a civil service background. I have been in Reserve Bank now for the last about 9 months. So it's really for others to judge whether that is weighing down upon me. But from my side, I would like to say that I think policy making involves a lot of, complex angularities. When it comes to policy making, whether you did a particular course 35 or 40 years ago, I think it's not as relevant as it would appear to be. I think what matters is your awareness, your grip of what's happening in the real economy, the kind of experience that you have had in your entire, professional life. So policy making at the level of the central bank does sort of involves so many other aspects. We have excellent research teams in the Reserve Bank of India, and you get constantly you interact with them constantly, and you there is no dearth of economic inputs or inputs, the technical inputs, if you may call in that sense. It's not necessary for the Reserve Bank governor to go into each equation and take a policy decision. It's necessary for the Reserve Bank governor to understand what is the role of monetary policy, to understand what is the importance of financial stability, to understand the nuances of the real economy, take into account all the incoming data, all the incoming analytical information, and take that decision.
I spoke to many bankers and economists in the build-up to the session to understand from them how they thought you were doing. they said some very interesting things. They said that you're listening more, you're talking more, and it's actually working better having a non-economist as Reserve Bank of India governor, because you're willing to listen. Unlike somebody else who comes with the notion that he knows everything because of his academic qualifications, you're more willing to listen and act on what you're being told. How do you see your innings as RBI governor being different from that of Raghuram Rajan and Urjit Patel?
No, I think it's for others to judge.
In your own.
It will not be fair on my part to sort of start comparing myself with others. I mean, both of them have made their own contribution to the Reserve Bank of India, and I would like to sort of, to be very clear, I would like to place on record that both of them were both my immediate predecessors and the predecessors before that. They have been outstanding governors. We are fortunate in India to have had a series of outstanding governors over the years.